Hey everyone, John Henry here from School of Trade, and today we're going to be taking a look at a possible supply and demand zone test on the Russell. So the Russell, if we zoom out a little bit, has been catching a really strong sell-off. Every time we've attempted to go higher, just got swatted right back down again. Took a little bit of profit here, slapped right back down again. Now we finally caught a little area of buying for supply from 1123.5 down to 1117.5. Now it's a big range, it's 60 ticks. But when we came back and tested it, you can see it was immediately rejected. Actually, there was a gap higher right after testing it. So we know the buyers are looking at defending this area. Right now, we're coming down into it, down to that 1123.5 area. So if we can get down into the 23.5, what I'm going to be looking for is switching over to the entry chart over here, and then looking for a rejection right back out of that area. Now, we've gotten as low as 1124.2, so we are getting close. I want to get at least, maybe not a physical test, but at least a couple ticks away. I want it to be closer than what this is so far. But the nice thing about this is if we can get a strong rejection like we've seen so far out of here, it shouldn't be much of a problem to get a little bit more of a sort of a 1, 2, 3 reversal pattern, giving us a cross higher and giving us a nice little entry pattern to get in long here. So what we'll be doing here, first of all, we have to wait for this to actually test. So we'll come back in a little bit. If we get a physical test, or at least close, like I said, a couple ticks away will make a huge difference. It's at 23.5, maybe up 3-4 ticks above it. 23.8, 23.9 will be okay. So what we'll do is we'll come back once we get that test, and then we'll start seeing if we can find a setup. All right, we're back. So we got as low as 1123.8, so we came that 3 ticks away. Didn't get a physical test, but immediately rejected right back off. Now this push higher just gave us a signal reset, so what I want to do, we got to move a little fast here. We're going to place a buy stop limit 1 tick above where this candle is going to close, and we know it's going to close there just because this 1125.4, this indicator is telling us that at 25.4 will be the high, so 1 tick above that will be where the candle closes. Now we just have to ratchet down and stick with that. Now that we've got the first test here, after the cross, we're going to be looking for a nice push up from here. Now this is the rejection after a near test. It wasn't a physical test, it was a near test, so this is a little bit higher risk. Preferably you'd like to see this come down and test the supply zone, bury into it a little bit, and then reject higher. But with this pattern already coming into a very aggressively filled area, on top of that, looking at it, this is actually filling that gap. So there's a lot of reason why the buyers are going to be interested in this area. So now that we got a fill, we want to find out where those targets are going to be. So what we'll do is we'll just do the Fibonacci of Fibonacci extensions, and we'll look for the overall entry right at the 100, which actually we just filled, so we need to move pretty fast here to get see if we can get this filled. Maybe 1 tick ahead of that. Don't want to get too far down. This is moving very quick. Sorry about the fast movement here. Let's see if we can get this filled. Now, our stop did automatically move to break even, so the risk is completely off the table now. Now it's pretty much just profit potential. So we've got our target sitting at 1126.2, looking to lock in a total from our entry up here of 9 ticks. So not a huge trade by any means, but it's a pretty quick little move there. So actually we just filled a target there, so that's going to be 90 bucks right in our pocket. Now there's actually a little bit of a kind of a side note here. We did break above these BMTs now. So now that we've broken above the BMTs, we are starting to actually flatten out here. We might have an opportunity to look to buy a pullback into a bigger time frame move here out of this supply and demand zone. So we caught the first quick little snap higher. Now we're looking for a potential bigger setup. So now what we can do is we'll just measure up from the high where we are now. And the BMTs are going to get a little bit in the way. I was actually just going to say I would like to see this get a little bit higher, which we are getting, so that's good. Now the entry right now would be sitting at 1125.3 or so, but because the BMTs are right there, I'd bump it 1 higher, so let's do 1125.4. That way we get the fill ahead of the BMT and ahead of the trigger zone, so we get a pretty solid fill here, and we'll just keep ratcheting this up as we go. Actually looking for sort of a back-to-back trade right now, looking to get in long here, so let's see if we can get a fill on this pullback. This is the type of setup that you really want to see, though. We got our first one taken off nice and quick, in, out, 90 bucks right in our pocket, quick and easy. Now that we've gotten this push above those BMTs, is giving us a chance to buy another pullback for a wave pattern to the long side. So now that we've got that pullback, actually just got our fill. That's perfect. So now what we want to do is the exact same thing that we just did a second ago. I want to find out where that the ABC basically is, from the low to the high, and we'll just adjust our target, which coincidentally was actually sitting directly on top of that, so didn't have to worry about that, so that's good. So we can take care of that. Looking at an overall stop, if we bump this down to 5 ticks, again, once we move 10 ticks in our favor, I'm going to ratchet the stop up to break even just to lock out some of the risk. But overall, I mean, a really, really solid back-to-back trades here. The first one worked out really well for a nice quick, more of a scalp really, for 9 ticks. And then if we get this one filled, looking at measuring from our entry, which is now at break even, up to our target up here for another 25 ticks. So overall, 34 ticks if we get both of them filled. Really solid trading here. The Russell's moving very, very fast this morning, already approaching our target, which, I mean, we just got in a couple seconds ago. So what we'll do is we'll give it a little bit of time here. Again, the stop has moved to break even. Only took 1 tick of heat on that one. Glad we ratcheted up to the BMT. I don't think we would have gotten filled had we stuck with the regular trigger zone entry there. So the 25.3, if you tried getting in there, may or may not have been filled. In this case, looking at taking an entry just ahead of that, a little more aggressive, yeah, but on the BMTs, definitely got a fill. Only took 1 tick of heat before going directly in our favor. So let's see if we can give it a little bit of time here and get this next one filled. Target sitting at 27.9, which is essentially just A to B in C to D, which is basically just measuring that swing, copy pasting right over, and measuring that swing, which we actually just got filled. So overall, really, really solid trades happening here on the Russell, moving very, very quickly. 34 ticks, $340 on only 1 contract in just a couple minutes. So very, very solid trading. So that's going to be the trades for the day. If you have any questions about them, feel free to send an email to School of Trade, and don't forget to check out our trial at schooloftrade.com. Have a good one.